I know you know that stress is not good for the mind, not good for the body, and definitely not good for hormone balance and fertility, right? And the more you try to not stress, the more you keep stressing, and that just heightens the stress even more. But aside from the obvious emotional and mental stressors, there are underlying hidden stressors in your body that have been there fermenting for years, even decades, that need to be addressed and could be offsetting your entire system. So, stress is a trigger that needs to be addressed, whether you are trying to overcome a hormonal imbalance, if you are trying to overcome any symptoms, or trying to get pregnant in general. Okay, so today I'm going to break down some underlying hidden stressors that really aren't addressed when you are trying to not stress, right? And how you can understand how they affect your body, and so that you can start healing and start balancing and start getting some relief. Okay, so in general, stress is a trigger. Okay, just like eating bad food is a trigger. So, stress is a trigger that is always going to shift you into survival mode and out of reproductive mode. Reproduction is not life's priority from a biological perspective. Your survival is. So, the more you are stressed, the more your body will protect you chemically from creating progesterone, from creating those fertility hormones. Now, it's not just, you having obsessive compulsive disorder or being stressed out because somebody, made you upset or traffic sucks. These are some underlying stressors that really need to be addressed. First and foremost, toxins. Toxins have been around in your systems probably since you were in your mother's womb. And it's because these toxins can pass from, the placenta into your tissues and your glands. So over time, you accumulate these toxins. You grow up in a world that's filled with plastics, pesticides, pills, antibiotics, air, you name it. The world is just toxic and it's unfortunate, but you can't do much about it without awareness of how these impact your body. Heavy metals, plastics, pesticides, they are in your body for a really long time until you start to address it. They stress your body out. They are known endocrine disruptors. That means they disrupt your hormones. So over time, they are going to disrupt all of your hormones to the point that there's so much stress in the body with all of these weird signals that when you want to get pregnant, your body will go against you to protect you from these toxins that are sending out weird communications. So first and foremost, you have to address the toxins. Can we ever live in a clean planet unless you live in a bubble? No. And so you have to have an awareness that toxins could be a huge underlying stressor. So just understand that, because the liver is important with that. The toxins live in the liver and other glands in the body. So if you have hypothyroidism, toxins are a huge component to that, because these are affecting the glands, because that's where heavy metals and other toxins like to live. So that is a huge stressor that, for as much yoga as you try to do, you still have to address that part, okay? The other one that really offsets and creates these hormonal imbalances is skipping meals. And that's a huge stressor on your body. Waiting way too long between meals and then having, a really high fat meal or high carb meal, whatever. It's not really about having the perfect diet for your hormones or the perfect diet for your fertility. It's really about when you're eating and how you're assimilating, how you're breaking down the nutrients to create excess hormones that you need, and especially good egg quality. So if you're skipping meals, you're throwing your blood sugar off, regardless of how clean your diet is. So skipping meals, you're waiting too long between eating foods. That's already going to throw off your insulin. Insulin and cortisol, that stress hormone, go hand in hand. So if you're skipping meals, guess what? You're increasing cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So then we go back to, a hormone imbalance. So the other thing that is an underlying stressor in the body is actually overtraining. So if you like kickboxing, if you do HIT, if you do CrossFit, good for you. I love it. And there's really, really great things that exercise does. And if it makes you happy, you love the sweat and the adrenaline, that's amazing. But if you are trying to balance your hormones, if you are trying to get pregnant, this could be really, really offsetting you and putting you in survival mode, because you overtraining, you are causing way too much adrenaline pumping through your body. And guess what? That's the cortisol again. Those are your adrenal glands. And when you're overstimulating those, you're stressing out the body on a very physical level. So the more you are pumping adrenaline, the more cortisol. You are not producing enough progesterone, which helps make babies, and you're probably not producing enough of the good sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. So overtraining is a big deal. And we go into this a lot with my clients in my private Women Bloom program when you're trying to get pregnant, because a lot of them want to be healthy and they over-exercise. I just had a kickboxer who had to shut down for 6 months, and guess what? She's pregnant, even just with that rest and a lot of the techniques that I've showed her to start recovering her adrenals from this excess adrenaline rush and the stress that it caused on her adrenals and then her sex hormones and then her reproductive hormones, right? So one of the big ones too that really sets your day up for the next day, that really stresses people out, is lack of sleep, or imbalanced sleep. You're sleeping too late, you wake up too early in the morning. You need to sleep before 10:30. And that, after that, you set yourself up for a second wind, because the cortisol, that stress hormone again, it comes up after 10:30, max 11 o'clock. If you get that second wind, you will want to be productive the rest of the night because you are up. So that really stresses your hormones. It sets you up for a hormone imbalance because cortisol, melatonin, all of that is off. And in the morning, when you finally get some rest and you finally wake up, you're going to feel groggy, right? And you're going to feel like you want quick carbs and you want some more coffee. And so that sets up more of the stress, because the coffee is going to dehydrate you. The coffee is going to leach out all the magnesium, all of the B vitamins, and all of the water that you need for the rest of the day to not only balance your hormones, but your mood and your metabolism, and everything is a domino effect. That is a huge stressor on all of your glands, all of your hormones, right? And of course, I cannot talk about these underlying stressors without tapping into the obvious ones, which are the clutter and the chatter in your mind, and also being surrounded by people who really share their opinions and get into your head, like energy vampires, and what that does to your train of thought. What conversations are you having in the privacy of your head that you are not asking the right questions? You are asking yourself questions that are leading to frustration, sadness. You are seeing the negative in all of your work. And so when I work with women with my hormone programs, and especially my Fertility Women Bloom program, is we tap into what questions are you asking yourself? What are you talking? What conversations are you having in the privacy of your mind? This is really, really important, because these are subconscious thoughts that you are not trained to tap into. And those could be holding you back, because if you are in a place where you don't see the light, you don't see the happiness, you don't see the possibilities, and you're stuck in the frustration of not having and not being accomplished and not having a baby, and it's really, really sad, and you want the world to feel sorry for you, these are patterns that you may need to break, because they are stressing your body out on a subconscious level. And guess what? That stuff ends up in the cells, in your muscles. So we really tap into breaking through what you think, you should be thinking, into just being kind and gracious and asking the right questions. So just a speedy recap, underlying stressors need to be addressed, as well as the physical and the emotional stressors that may be impacting your hormones, maybe impacting your fertility. Whatever it is, I guarantee that the underlying stress and the increase in cortisol hormone, the stress hormone, is impacting your ability to heal on many different levels. Because remember, the more that cortisol is in your bloodstream, the less sex hormone production, estrogen and progesterone, and definitely less progesterone in the body, because you are in survival. So you have to address these triggers. It's all part of it. It just can't be just one herb. It can't be just one diet. And that's where people go wrong. Is just, you heard about this herb for hormone balance and things like that. And, it's all part of a system that really needs to be put together. And stress is a huge component of that. And it's not just physical and mental stress. So what are they? Definitely toxins from the pills, plastics, pesticides. Definitely needs to be addressed. It's an internal stressor in the body, causes a lot of inflammation. If the inflammation's high, body's going to protect yourself, not being able to get pregnant, not being able to overcome whatever hormone imbalance you are trying to overcome. Skipping meals offsets, creates a hormone imbalance from the get-go, and it's just going to drain your glands, and pregnancy is not going to be a priority. Surviving and balancing that inflammation will. Overtraining, again, too much cortisol, too much adrenaline. Your body, your mind thinks that you're constantly running. You're an athlete. It's not time to have a baby. It's not time to overcome a hormone imbalance. No, it's time to keep running. It's time to survive. So you're running on empty there, okay? And you got to sleep. You got to sleep. Sleep causes, lack of sleep causes hormonal imbalances. It sets you up for a groggy, non-productive day. And you're also not letting your liver, which breaks down hormones and it sets you up to detox, you're not letting it heal. You're not letting it work. So you need to sleep. And, you always have to really check yourself. Are you asking yourself the right questions? Are you living in a place of scarcity, lack of abundance, lack of gratitude because things are not moving productive? Are you surrounding yourself by people who are just saying, don't do this, don't do that, but that worked for this? And, are you surrounding yourself by energy vampires that are getting into your head and that are having you doubt your ability in yourself, your ability to heal, and your ability to ask for help when you need it? So if you need help, if you're ready to kind of address all of these underlying issues and probably much more, and if you're at a place where you want to start balancing your hormones, you want to start supporting your body for a healthy and safe natural pregnancy, regardless of what you could have, regardless of endo, PCOS, fibroids or cysts or overweight. I've seen it all. And when we create a strategy that's specific to you, you will just see how all of this starts to go and work in place, okay? And so that's, if you're ready, you can always go ahead and drop me, drop me something below, I'm ready, and I will personally reach out to you and make that happen and give you more information on how we can address your needs together, because your needs are very unique to you. Your stressors are completely unique to you, and they all need to be addressed, whether it's a toxin that you are exposed to every single day that you have no idea where it could be from, or if it's your mother-in-law pressuring you to have a baby or go through IVF or go see this doctor because your sister-in-law did this and because of that. It's all part of the process, but it's up to you to reach out and ask for help when you are ready and committed to do so, because there is always a holistic approach to getting all of this balanced. But you see now that there are several areas that we can address, and that's just regarding stress. All right, so I hope to talk to you soon. Take care.